Shalom Aleichem, and welcome to this video. This video is focused on the issue of Israelites in Africa. Now, as far as I can tell, in the Hebrew scriptures, in the prophets specifically, there is clear indication that there are going to be Israelites in what we call Africa at the end of this age and at the coming of the Messiah. There are two scriptures that I want to look at to show this. The first scripture I would go to is the prophet Yeshaya. This is Yeshaya or Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 10. And it says, "In that day," speaking about the Messianic age to come, "there shall be a root of Yeshai or Jesse standing as a banner to the people. Unto him the Gentiles or the Goyim, the nations, shall seek, and his rest shall be esteem or glorious. It shall be in that day that Yah sets his hand a second time to recover the remnant of his people, who are left from Ashur or Assyria, from Mizraim, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamat, from the islands of the sea. And he shall raise a banner for the nations, and gather the outcasts of Israel, and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth." Now here, the prophet mentioned three parts of Africa. He mentioned Mizraim. Mizraim is Egypt. He also mentioned Pathros. Pathros was the southern part of Egypt, the older part of Egypt, the kingdom of Egypt, or Kemet, Mizraim. And he also said Cush. Cush is often translated as Ethiopia, but it's not modern day Ethiopia really. It's more like the land of what we would call Sudan today. But Cush was a very mighty nation in those days, a great foe of Egypt for a long time, and a kingdom which outlasted, for example, Rome. It outlasted Greece. These great empires of old. Cush was longer lasting than they were. But the point is that when the root of Yeshai, when Mashiach comes and regathers the children of Israel, they are going to be regathered from Africa in significant number, because he mentions these countries by name: Mizraim, Pathros, and Cush. Another prophet who gives the same message, a little bit more information, is Zephaniah. And he says, the Most High says in his book, says this: "Therefore wait for me, declares Yah, until the day I rise up for plunder. For my judgment is to gather nations, to assemble reigns or kingdoms, to pour out on them my rage, all my burning wrath. For the fire of my jealousy, all the earth shall be consumed." And the wrath is because of the way that the nations have treated the children of Israel. Verse 9, "For then I shall turn unto all the peoples a clean lip or language, so that they all call on the name of Yah, to serve him with one shoulder." So you see, all the nations are going to be serving the Most High Yah in the coming kingdom. Not only the children of Israel, as some people are trying to tell us. Verse 10, "From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, the daughter of my dispersed ones, shall bring my offering." So you see here, the daughter of my dispersed ones is the Israelites who have been dispersed. And they're going to be brought from where? From beyond the rivers of Cush. Now again, Cush is what we would call today Sudan. And we've got to think, what does beyond the rivers of Cush mean? Well, if we look at our map here, this is a map of Sudan. This is Cush, ancient Cush, modern day Sudan. And we can see here that all these rivers are dissecting big chunks of the land of Cush. These are the rivers which the Most High was referring to. Now, the land of Israel is north from here. It's in northeast Africa. So if we go further south, going away from Israel is to go south. And then we get to the rivers here. So beyond the rivers of Cush, from the vantage point of Israel, is this way, and this way, and this way. That's further. That's beyond the rivers of Cush from looking at it from Israel. Now we've got to think, well, what are these places? What are these lands here beyond the rivers of Cush? Well, clearly, this is Africa. You go beyond the rivers of Cush, you go further away from Israel, beyond the rivers of Cush, westwards, southwards, and eastwards, you're talking about Africa, here and here and here. These are the lands. This is what it means beyond the rivers of Cush. Look, from beyond the rivers of Cush, look at another map here, and we'll see the immediate lands beyond the rivers of Cush are, if we go toward the west, we'll find Ethiopia. Ethiopia here, beyond the rivers of Cush. Kenya down here. Uganda down here. Congo down here, beyond the rivers of Cush. Central African Republic. Cameroon. You could say Chad as well, Nigeria. These are the lands which are beyond the rivers of Cush from the vantage point of Israel. So I think that makes it fairly clear that the Most High is going to regather Israelites from Africa, from these lands in Central, Eastern and Western Africa. Now the thing that prompted me to make this this video and to begin this study is an article that I saw on the BBC website today, and this article, as we see here, it's entitled "Israel Receives Last Ethiopians," and it's talking about the modern state of Israel. And I'm going to read the article, parts of the article. It says, Israel says it has carried out its last major airlift of Ethiopian Jews, meaning Israelites, ending a 30-year immigration scheme that has seen some 100,000 move there. So basically, the background is that the state of Israel, the regime in the state of Israel, recognizes some of these. There are many people in Ethiopia who are Israelites. And that shouldn't surprise us, because the prophets say that there's going to be many Israelites in that part of the world at the coming of Mashiach. And around 100,000 of them have been recognized as being Israelites by the state of Israel. However, and have moved to Israel. However, if we look down here, very interestingly, it says, campaigners said thousands more Ethiopians of Israelite descent, really, known as the Falasha Mura, should be admitted. The Falasha Mura were forced to convert to Christianity in the 19th century. Ethiopia's last remaining Jewish community, the Falasha Mura, traced their roots to the biblical King Solomon, but they are not eligible to enter Israel under the law of return, which guarantees a place in the country for every Jew, or meaning Israelite, because they have been largely unable to prove that they are Jewish. I'll stop there. I'll come back to this article again in a future video. But the point is that you've got these Israelites here who have had to prove that they're Israelites to the regime, the Ashkenazi, mainly Ashkenazi regime in the state of Israel. And what that shows, that proves, that confirms the biblical prophets who said that there's going to be many Israelites in the lands beyond the rivers of Cush at the end of days. And here we see that even the modern politicians recognize this, but as this article points out, there's reason to believe that there's thousands more Ethiopians who are Israelites who have not been allowed back because the state doesn't recognize them as being Israelites. Let me just say that the Most High knows who his people are, and the Most High recognizes that they are Israelites. So they don't need to worry. When the time comes, the Most High will bring them back into their land, and they will be recognized as being children of Israel. But for me, that just confirms once again that, as per the biblical prophets, there are Israelites in Africa, and and what I hope to do in future videos is to show you how the Israelites ended up going from the land of Israel up in the north into places like Ethiopia and the other parts of Africa, and eventually how they ended up getting taken away, how some of them ended up getting taken away into captivity into North and South America.